I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. This is a regular meeting for Tuesday, March 6, 2025. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
I will. Tim Hale.
Here.
Stephanie Nowers.
Here.
I'm expecting Dee McKee. Maxwell Sumner. Oh, there she is.
Here.
Maxwell, you already said here. Okay. Bill Gamble.
Here.
Dimitri Ponoff.
Present.
Ron Bernier.
Present.
Madam Mayor, you do have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there anything of any of the members would like to pull from the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none in the agenda, is there any other changes to the agenda? Yes, Assemblyperson McKee, go ahead.
Your mic.
Turn the mic on. Okay.
Can I wait till just before you go into the consent agenda before I pull them? Kind of out of breath. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
Well, if
kindly.
it's the consent agenda, we ask that later, so,
Okay, good.
okay,
Thanks.
okay. But if it's regular agenda, then we can give you an at ease or something if you need it, but the consent agenda will be later. Okay, okay, all right, okay. So hearing none, but anticipating some changes later on, we will say this agenda has been presented. So if you all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I believe I have an Eagle Scout that is going to lead us, and if they want to come up, and the flag, of course, is right there. If all of you will join, please. Thank you, sir. You can just turn it on till it turns green, and there you go.
Perfect. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You can leave it on.
Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and go on down. So first of all, we are going to present and notice the Eagle Scouts. So if you would all come on up, please. And you can probably just sort of line up there and face the audience. Yeah, both of you want to come up here too? And I want to get pictures. Okay, all right, okay. So I'll just hand these to you. I don't know if it doesn't look like everybody's here, but at least we can read the names off. And you want to come over here, or do you want a handheld mic? What would you prefer? That? Okay. No choices here. I'm in charge. You're doing it.
Okay. We had 11 Eagle Scouts this year from the Valley, and their projects accumulated over 1,700 hours of service to the community. And so Hunter Cameron is the first one.
Put them all up there and you can go through them. And we'll probably just at least acknowledge them even if they're not here. And then we can put those over to the side and have you take them to present them later. Go ahead.
We do know that several of our scouts have moved on to the next stages in their lives, so they're not here. Nathan Dager, which I know he's not here. I believe he's in Idaho working now. Sean Edwards. Hans Eriksson. Ezekiel Fisher. Charles Goodall. Caleb Inman. Samantha Ivory. Lucas Mansfield. Leslie Peterson. And Seamus Wheeler.
I think the audience will indulge us, and we will ask each one to state their name and their project, and maybe approximately how many hours you spent on it, or anything else you'd like to talk to us about, okay?
Hello, I'm Hans Eriksson. I did a renovation for a shed, mulched a gaga ball pit, did some raised flower beds, and a rear doorstep. And I forgot how many hours I put in.
So my name is Hunter Cameron, and my Eagle Scout project was nicknamed Birdie Boxes. We built swallow nesting boxes out at Settlers Bay Golf Course and the surrounding community to reduce mosquito populations. I personally believe I spent about 30, a little bit over that maybe, hours planning and setting up the project as well as working. Total with all the other scouts, I believe, was somewhere around 150 hours.
I'm Ezekiel Fisher. My Eagle project was renovating the benches in front of Colony. We planed them down and refinished them, and the hours I do not recall.
I'm Lucas Mansfield. I worked on a Cayman SH-2 Sea Sprite. It was a Navy helicopter out at the Wasilla Museum of Transportation. We moved it and partially restored it for the museum. So you can go check it out if you're out that way by the...
My name is Seamus Wheeler. I'm a part of Troop 359. My Eagle Scout project was I made flag collection boxes, flags fit to be retired, because in Wasilla I only know of one true flag collection box. I don't really remember how long on it, let's think. Let's be good. Wow. It's really all I can remember right now.
Okay, thank you. Do you want some, yeah, Tim?
Can we get some
Yeah.
photo with you, Mayor Bryce?
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
I'm John Diefendorfer, and Robert Wilson and I are the advancement chair for the district out here. But what I wanted to point out is Eagle Scout's the top rank in scouting. But those of you who are from the community, these are kids that are out committed to something. They're committed to God and country. They're committed to helping other people. And they're committing to living and to keeping themselves physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. And all of the scouts in the room that are working towards Eagle, if you would stand up just to be recognized too, because you have the same commitment. Thank you very much.
Can I tell you, sir, that young man, one of his flag retirement boxes is sitting at VFW 9365. You guys did a fantastic job on those. And thank you for giving us a place to put the flags that need to be retired. So what they do is they bring the flags in and they put them in this bin that these gentlemen made. and for retirement, and then we do a flag burning day and we officially retire those flags. That is an integral part. I'm sorry.
So everybody can hear you.
Okay, if you couldn't hear me before, this gentleman right here that built the flag retirement boxes, we have one of those sitting at VFW 9365 off Lakewood Drive. That it was something that was very needed in the community for a place for us to put these flags that are being retired. They did a beautiful job on it. It is a big, huge box, and we proudly display it in our newly remodeled VFW. So if you guys get by there, you can acknowledge the fact that this young man was responsible for putting that there. And I just personally, as a member, I wanted to thank him myself.
So you just arrived, so can I put you on the spot? You're not an Eagle Scout apparently, but tell us a little. Well, everybody else that is involved with the Scouts stood up, but you didn't get to stand up because you weren't here. So would you stand up so everybody can see you? Thank you. Okay, did you get the opinion? Okay.
There we go. Everything. Everybody smiles, big smiles. There we go. Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So do we have the representatives here from the postal carriers? Okay. So this Saturday, if you have extra food or want to donate to help with the food bank in the valley, you can put your extra cans or non-perishable items out by your post office box cluster. We do have some tonight that some people have brought over there in a couple of boxes. And so I'm going to read this proclamation to you. Let me give you, this is the one you get to keep. And so, whereas the National Association of Letter Carriers represent postal workers in the Mat-Su Valley, is committed not only to the service of our mail delivery, but to improving the community and including the Mat-Su Borough. Their Stamped Out Hunger Food Bank, organized annually, is the largest one-day food collection in the nation. So it's a big thing. It has helped collect millions of pounds of food for families in need since the inception of 1993 is when it started. And whereas the 2025 Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive marks the 33rd year of the critical effort, this mobilizes the letter carriers, the volunteers, and the residents to address food insecurity in our local neighborhoods. And as I said, we do have some here tonight, but if you want to partake, you can just leave it out in by where you pick up your mail. So now I, Edna DeVries, as mayor of the Mat-Su Borough, do hereby recognize the National Association of Letter Carriers, Branch 4339, for their continued leadership and community service, and proclaim May 10th, 2025 as Stamp Out Hunger Day. You want to say something?
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah. I'll be taking pictures.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Did you want to say something, sir?
Oh, sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Tommy Devros. I'm the branch president for the National Association of Letter Carriers. We represent the carriers out here in Wasilla and Palmer, but also Anchorage on down through Homer. Like the mayor said, it's easy to participate. Just leave non-perishable food items at your mailbox, in your mailbox, on top of your mailbox. Or you can always stop by the Palmer or Wasilla post office, the annex or the main, and leave your food donations there. And your letter carrier will do the rest on Saturday. And we're partnered with the Matsu Borough Food Pantry. So that goes right back into the community that you guys all live in. So thank you in advance. We appreciate your recognition.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for what you do. And Tom, do you want to bring everybody up while I do the recognition of the National Public Works Week? So these are the people, or part of the people that when you are complaining about your road or want your road attention, you'll probably get one of these gentlemen and ladies on the phone with you. So anyway, we want to recognize them for all that they do for us. We hear many times how I have a pothole and something's wrong with the road, or the snowplow didn't come, or something like that. So anyway, whereas public work professionals are responsible for the planning, construction, and maintenance of the infrastructure, the facilities, and the services that are essential to health, safety, and high quality of life for the Matsu Borough. Whereas these critical services depend on dedication and expertise of public works professionals, including engineers, managers, and staff across all levels of our government. Their continued success for our communities rely on skill, commitment, and tireless effort of these individuals who work behind the scenes each day to ensure our systems function smoothly and safely. The Public Works Association celebrates its 65th annual National Public Works Week in 2025. Honoring the contributions of our public works professionals across the country. So therefore, I, as Edna DeVries, Mayor of the Matsu Borough, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through the 24th, 2025 as National Public Works Week. Tom?
Thank you, Mayor. As you recognize, it's only a portion of our Public Works Department that consists of 4 divisions. But I want to take a couple minutes to just recognize the proclamation. So first of all, good evening. It's great to see all of you here. As the borough's Public Works Director, I'm privileged to be here today as we acknowledge the upcoming National Public Works Week, which is May 18th through 24th. Time to recognize and appreciate the employees who help keep our borough running strong. This year's theme is people, purpose, and presence. These highlight 3 cornerstone ideals that motivate public works professionals to serve in the communities every day. People, because behind every roadway improved, every public facility repaired, and every fleet vehicle maintained are dedicated professionals who bring their skill, care, and pride to work each and every day. Purpose, because the work isn't just about infrastructure, it's about service. It's about building the foundation for a safe, healthy, and thriving community. Whether it's ensuring clean drinking water, a safe transportation network, or reliable public facilities, our Public Works team acts with a mission to serve. And presence, because even when we don't see them, Public Works staff are always there. Their presence is constant in the systems we depend on, the places we gather, and the services we often take for granted until the moment we need them. And when crisis strikes, be it a flood, a storm, or a public emergency, our Public Works professionals step forward as first responders. They're clearing roads for ambulances or in fire trucks. They're helping to restore essential services. They're keeping our infrastructure safe and our community functioning. Their rapid response and calm under pressure are crucial and too often overlooked. Meeting the needs of people is what gives Public Works its sense of purpose. Many times Public Works professionals will never meet those whose lives have been impacted because when things are going right, no one knows that Public Works is there. Yet with or without fanfare, Public Works is ever present, working in the background to advance quality of life for all. Today, through this mayoral proclamation, we officially recognize the vital role Public Works plays in our community. I want to extend a sincere thank to Mayor DeVries for the proclamation and for continued support from the Assembly and Borough Administration for the incredible work being done by our Public Works Department. To every member of our Public Works team, not all of you here, thank you. Thank you for your purpose, your presence, and for being the people we can count on in ordinary times and in times of need. And happy National Public Works Week. Thank you.
You want to get in line for a photo?
Yep, gotcha.
Stand next to Brad.
Yeah. Okay.
You're right.
This is probably the only time when you're going to be gladly receptive, like Not true. Not true.
Take every moment we can get.
Yeah.
Mayor, could you shake my daughter's hand again?
Oh.
I didn't get the shot.
Yes, good.
All right, let's get it. We got the wide angle for sure now. All right. More. Okay. Got him. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is minutes of preceding minutes, and we do not have any to be presented. The next is correspondence and report from the cities. I don't see anybody from the cities. I don't see anybody from the school district. Do we have, and I don't see Todd or anybody from the state. But we do have a report from the Joint Assembly School Board meeting that was held yesterday. So Assembly Person Nowers and Borough Manager, Mike, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We were conferring and she deferred, at least to start. So in your red folder, we did have a joint Assembly School Board Committee on School Issues meeting yesterday. So there's two items in your red folder. One is the FY26 budget update that the district provided us yesterday. There are a couple of different revenue scenarios in there that I think are relevant since we're still in the budget cycle. If you'll recall, when the school district presented their budget, the school board approved a balanced budget at $281 million, which is a $1,000 BSA. What's in House Bill 57, that is been made its way through the legislature, is a $700 BSA with some conditions. And so it actually will potentially require some additional reductions if that bill is to pass and signed into law. And so I just wanted to bring those numbers forward since the district shared that with us yesterday. If you have questions, I'm happy to address those. Ms. Nowers was there as well, so we have some additional detail, but wanted to share those figures with you so that you're aware of those. And then the second item is the 2025 graduation schedule. So the list of all the graduations are in one place so that you can reference that. You're certainly welcome as elected officials to attend, and we certainly would encourage that. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Okay, Assembly Person Hours, comments?
He left me the fun topic, but probably relevant or interesting as well, as we had a discussion about health insurance. The school district is looking at a 23% increase in their kind of core mimic plan that Primera's doing. So we just kind of touched on the boroughs that were privately insured, and that's maybe something they could look at. Maybe we could partner on it together. I would emphasize we just touched on it just as an idea, but just to try to help them with absorbing that cost. So that was a pretty stunning figure, and so that was the conversation.
Okay, all righty. And does anyone, I'm sorry, Assemblyperson
Madam Mayor,
Gamble,
I
go
do
ahead.
have a question for Assemblymember Nauer. So when does the new health insurance rates take effect?
I'm not sure it's their next, it's the coming plan, but I don't know when they roll that over, if it's starts the school year or starts July, or we could certainly find out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, are there any public relations reports? If you have not been following the borough on their Facebook page, you probably would not have realized that Monday was Drive Your Tractor to Work. And our media people got some excellent drone pictures. I don't know where Stefan, I guess maybe he went to hide after I put him to work so much here in the last 15 minutes. But anyway, there was really excellent. Lots of tractors there and good participation. I think they gave out all of the breakfast burritos they had, and then they were also giving away potatoes. So you may want to mark your calendar for the first Monday in May of next year. So just to remind you that the milk at the grocery store doesn't come from the grocery store, but it comes from a four-legged animal someplace, maybe not even be Alaska, but someplace. And so there were lots of young families there. So anyway, a great event for Palmer.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
I would just note that you still can get Alaska milk.
from
Comes
Glen Allen, is it?
From Glen Allen. We don't have it
Yeah.
in the valley anymore, but if you go to Bush's Bunches or Three Bears, you can at least still get Alaska produced milk.
Good, thank you. Okay, Mr. Brown, do you have another report? You do not? Okay. Mr. Attorney, do you have a report for us, sir?
I do not have a report tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Madam Clerk, do you have a report for us?
The clerk's report is in your red folder, has the upcoming meetings through July, and also attached to the clerk's report is this Thursday and next Tuesday budget meeting agendas. And also, I'm going to start reporting on election dates. So on this clerk's report, it's telling you that if you're looking at putting forward propositions for the November ballot, the last regularly scheduled meetings for introduction is the first meeting in August, and the for public hearing, the last meeting in August.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. The next item on our agenda is citizens and other correspondence. And are there any comments on any of the citizens and other correspondence? Hearing none, then they are presented. And Madam Clerk, would you read the IMs into the record, please?
I am 25101, informing the Assembly of the intent to subdivide Lot 5, U.S. Survey Number 3483, into 2 lots for the purpose of less than fair market value sale of borough-owned property to the Louise-Susitna Tyone Community Association for a public purpose. I am 25103, informing the Assembly of the submittal of a Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation grant application requesting $22,935.48 to purchase fire extinguisher training equipment. And I am 25108, notifying the Assembly of the manager's intent to amend the management agreement with Valley Communities for Recycling Solutions to transfer maintenance of the recycling facility to the Matsu Borough, consistent with other borough facilities.
Are there any comments from the Assembly on the IMs? Okay, hearing none, then they are presented. The next item on the agenda is audience participation. We did have a sign-up sheet, and we will call on those people first, but if you didn't sign up, we will still take and listen to you, and then we'll also go online for the people that are online. So, Melody, you're first, lady.
Good evening, Borough Mayor Dimitri. My name is Melody McCullough, and I am here first off to thank the borough, George Hayes, which I was told he was sitting in the back somewhere. There he is, Dimitri, and our great mayor for taking care of the flooding that we had, wasn't last year, year before last. We had a new homeowner break an aquifer wall, and a spring was flooding our neighborhood, and it took out 8 houses. We tried to work with Public Works to a certain extent. That didn't happen. Next year, we had 8 houses flooded. We did a news story. I contacted Edna. We ended up having a meeting at my house. So problem solved. I knew the problem was solved when there was no more water, when everything was dry. I was like, oh, they fixed the problem. What I'm here to address tonight is the incoming traffic from the Shaw Elementary and Birch Tree School is being built right next to Shaw Elementary. I live off Wasilla Fishhook and Mariah Drive. They're gonna punch Paradise right through to Foxtrot to Charlie, which is right in the middle of my neighborhood. Okay, I live on Mariah Drive on the Fishhook side. The other outgoing side would be Caribou and Bogard. Okay, I'm worried about the influx of traffic. Birch Tree School will have drivers, they have to drive their students to school. Okay, they've done traffic assessments at Paradise and Wasilla Fishhook, which is the road where Shaw is. Tanis, which is the next road up, and Wasilla Fishhook. Mariah Drive and Wasilla Fishhook. Foxtrot and Charlie and Caribou. They have not done a traffic assessment on Mariah and Charlie. There is a stop sign there. I was sitting out there. I have students that ride the bus, and there's a lot of school buses that come through there. It's a safety issue. The bus stop is at the corner in the ditch where the stop sign is for the high schools. And I had that changed to my driveway because it's exponentially wider and a safer place so the kids can step back away from the road. I'm asking for speed bumps to be put on the paved side of Mariah. There are 3 houses on that road. I'm in the middle of them. We need to slow down that traffic. I did a traffic evaluation of my own a couple of years back between 6 and 7 in the morning, and I watched how many people blew through that stop sign. And it's like a stop sign's not even there. People don't even see it. And so my child stands out there for the bus. So I'm asking for speed bumps to be put on the paved side of Mariah Drive to slow down traffic that's going to be going through the neighborhood from Wasilla Fishhook. Thank you for your time. I just wanted to make everybody aware of what I was here for. And basically, Dimitri, this is our meeting. So, and to thank everybody too for solving that huge problem that we had. You guys are awesome. Public Works is awesome. I think, Tom, if you're still in the room, he's the one I've been working with on this project. So kudos to him too. Thank you.
Peter Bird?
Tanner Baird.
Tanner, is it Tanner? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you look like a G.
Good evening, and thank you again for the opportunity to speak. I want to begin by apologizing for leaving early Tuesday to the last meeting. I had to attend my daughter's softball game that was happening between Wasilla High and Colony High. It was a great game. I also wasn't aware at the time questions cannot follow my 3-minute comment period. Since then, I've had a helpful conversation with Mr. Dmitry Fonov, and he kindly explained the process, and I appreciate his time and clarity throughout the process. So last week, you saw me. My goal was simple: to plant a seed of hope. With your support, our youth program can grow and thrive, and a seed of ambition to make the Alcantara Sports Complex not just our home field, but a cornerstone of youth development in the Mat-Su Valley. Let me reintroduce myself. Again, my name is Tanner Baird. I am a head coach for the Alaska Polar Fast Pitch 16U team, and I'm a proud resident of Alaska and District 6. It's the same home of the Alcantara Sports Complex, and Mr. Dmitry Fonov is my representative. Behind me, stand a few of the incredible young, beautiful athletes that we have here at Alaska Polar Fast Pitch. It is, and with them is their dedicated family. These are your constituents. I have people in my program that an organization that touch almost every single district. From nearly every district in the Matsu Borough, brought together by a shared investment in our youth and our community. Today, we respectfully request and ask the Assembly to waive the field usage fees for the entire organization for our use at Alcantara. We currently operate 4 divisions, 10, 12, 14, and 16U, and that totals about $2,000 per month. Next season, we'll be adding an 18U division, which will increase our monthly revenue into the Matsu Borough of $2,500 a month. We typically use the fields for 6 to 7 months out of the year, and depending upon weather, which would average about $12,000 to $14,000 annually in usage fees. By waiving these fees, we can redirect those funds towards the field restoration and improvement, where I've been working so closely with Mr. Hugh Leslie and Ian Delac, and we're committed to offsetting the rest through sweat equity. We're not afraid to get dirty or put the time in. We have no expectation for the borough to front the money, supply all the materials, or handle all the labor involved. We will supply the funds, the material, and the labor for the ability to use Alcantara at no cost to our organization. What we want is a place to call home, a place to build a legacy. Home shouldn't come at a cost, especially when we're the ones putting all the work to make it look and feel like home. We simply ask for the opportunity to continue building something meaningful together, but this request goes beyond the numbers. It's about partnership. The funds saved by waiving fees would be directly reinvested in the facilities through field restoration and improvement. And as a nonprofit, we simply cannot afford to pay usage fees and cover the significant cost of repairs without fee relief. We're forced to raise the athletes' fees, and a move that will risk making participation unaffordable to all their families. I appreciate your time in this banner, and I'll stand by for questions.
Thank you. Karen Lewis?
Good evening, Madam Mayor.
Good
and
evening.
Assembly members and everybody. My name's Karen Lewis. I'm handing out, or Lonnie's going to hand out information about radio frequency identification within libraries. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Zane's working on it in the Wasilla Library, and I asked him at one of their meetings if they could possibly put something in place where children under 17 or under 16, whatever the age decision would be, to not be able to access obscene books, obscene material in books. And I just think it's a really good idea to do these in the libraries, to not allow, because right now, the way it is, the books did get moved, yay, thank you, everybody, for that, but 10-year-olds can go into the adult section and still get those books. 8-year-olds, 6-year-olds. So there needs to be a safety, something in place where these kids can't get a hold of this material, because it will screw up their minds. I think it would screw up adult minds, for that matter. You wouldn't believe the crap that's in there. Another thing that bothers me is this Rose group that came up here under false pretenses by the community development. Apparently it was Jillian, I don't know. I'm sure I hope you guys are talking about this, because you can't just let this slide, especially if it's illegal. And it appears to be that they spent money, a grant money that was supposed to be used for something, but it was used for a focus group about the threats that are of the people going on the Wasilla library committees and things. They're just, they're conservative and they don't like it. So this has to be looked at. And who brought the Rose group up here, and how they paid it, how they lied about it on the invoice. I mean, this came out of borough money, over $30,000 illegally, so it's something that needs to be looked at. So we don't want that to just go by the wayside. I mean, I have more notes on it, but I think you all have heard about this, and I really am asking you to look into this and do something about it. We can't have illegal stuff going on here. So thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Travis?
Hello, my name is Travis Reason. I live in Palmer. Before I talk about what I want to talk about, I want to make a correction. The milk doesn't come from Glen Allen. It comes from Delta Junction. There's a dairy up in Delta Junction.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Thanks, Travis.
yeah, just want to put that out
Have you
there.
been up there and milked any of those cows?
No, I just okay. Anyway, away from the cows, I want to talk about commuter rail, and I see that in downtown Palmer, they're finally removing those tracks out of the road, which is a good thing, because in very all likelihood, trains are not going to be coming there anytime soon. They haven't for about 20 plus some odd years, and I think we should really invest into the idea of commuter rail. You know, I mean, we could have the commuter rail station near the state fair and in Wasilla and all over those places. So I think the challenge is to get the Alaska Railroad to allow a commuter rail to operate on their tracks. So I was thinking that you guys can probably come up with the money and start a private company to operate the commuter rail trains. See, in Florida, if you heard of Brightline, they don't own. They're a high-speed rail, but it's not by world standards. It's not very fast. The Brightline trains don't own the tracks. They operate under a partnership agreement with CSX, who owns the tracks down there. So I was thinking, you could somebody could start a company and come up with an agreement to operate on their tracks, on Alaska Railroad tracks, and start commuter rail. Because if you think about it, no offense, but cars, do take up a lot of space on the highway, and trains, they just seem to reduce a lot of cars on the road. And besides, you could travel, you don't have to deal with traffic jams. So it's just a thought. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Travis. Jackie?
Good evening, Mayor and Borough Assembly members. My name is Jackie Goforth. As you know, I've been speaking to you about social engineering and about the Chinese Communist Party that has paid into our universities and the curriculum that they sort of wanted put in for that. And I want you to know that there's a survey going on in the borough right now wanting to find out if parents want to know when their children check out books. That's a really good idea, except for one thing. These books have hidden content. They're not, if they were in any other media, they'd be X or XXX. Any other media. And there is no X or XXX in the library. So how is a parent to know? Now, I want you to see, these are the basic tenets of Marxist social engineering, and this is what is being taught in the colleges, and that's why we have such a problem. And if you do your research, instead of thinking I'm a conspiracy theorist, if you would actually check with the Tavistock Industry Institute, the Frankfurt School of Social Engineering, where this list came from, the Weatherman Underground, or Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, you'll come up with the exact same lists, or some of them on the same lines. Number 1, the creation of racism offenses. Number 2, continual change to create confusion. This is how you get Marxism into a country. I'm going to skip 3. Number 4, you have mass immigration to destroy a national identity. Number 5, you do the promotion of excessive drinking and drug use. Number 6, you try to empty the churches. Actually, you want to undermine any and every social cohesion. Number 7, you set up a legal system with a bias against victims of crimes. Number 8, there's a dependency on the state or state benefits. Number 9, they get control and dumbing down of the media. Number 10, encouraging the breakdown of the family. And look at number 3. Teaching sex to children. That is part of a social engineering plan in all of the Marxism things that you look at. And that is why we continue to say this is a Marxism program. And that is why all of the educated people, do you know, if you look up the stats, 20 years ago, the professors in all the colleges, it was 60-40. 60% liberal, 40% conservative. So there was a dialogue in every college. Look it up. Now it's 90-10. 90% liberal professors, 10% conservative. And on the West Coast, it's even more fun. The reason why the West Coast is like that is because the Weatherman Underground people are the deans of the colleges. They are hiring the professors. So in case you're wondering why Berkeley and everything else, all the way up in here to Alaska, is pushing this agenda, that's why. This is the curriculum being taught at the colleges. They were paid to do that. That's what happens when you accept money from places, like the Matsu Health Foundation. I understand they're funding some of the library for the Palmer City, and now all of a sudden they have to allow the drag queen, what they call the Queen's Guard, they have to allow them to have businesses in downtown Palmer. So I just wonder, is that connected? Is that connected to the funding? There's another person who was funding it, and they wanted artwork that was put in and out, and they would decide which artwork, and the city had to pay all the costs to move it. See, whenever you take money from someone, there seems to be strings attached. And the CCP had these. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else that didn't sign up, hasn't testified, would like to address the assembly on any subject? Okay, do we have anybody? We do have, okay, whoever's online, go ahead, please.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Manager Brown, Assembly, and staff. This is Moki 2 calling in. I'd like to ask the Assembly to consider rebidding the RSA contracts for last year. I think if you look at those contracts, it will save millions of dollars to the citizens of the borough. When we have over 300 miles or approximately 300 miles of road out here that the citizens are paying RSA taxes on and yet not getting any service, I think we need to pay attention to how we're spending that RSA money. Just to give it over to a contractor and 3 times the value of their contract, or 2 to 3 times their value, is crazy. I would like you to reconsider putting out the last year's RSA contracts back out, and let's get them back in line to where they need to be, and stop fleecing the community. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anybody else online, sir? No? Okay, one last chance for anybody that would like to address the assembly on any subject. You're welcome to come and talk for 3 minutes. I see some conversations and some smiles, but I don't see any movement, so I'll go ahead and close audience participation. There will be another audience participation later, so if you haven't partaked at this time, you can, if you worked up your courage and your words by that time, there will be another opportunity. Okay, so that takes care of audience participation. Madam Clerk, for public hearings.
Ordinance 2518, an ordinance conveying the borough's remaining interest in real property estate identified as tax ID numbers 21N05W36A002 and 21N05W36A003 to Mark and Sandra Stahl and implement agricultural covenants, conditions, and restrictions. If you're on the phone and would like to speak to this, press star 3.
Okay, staff report, sir.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Manager Brown, and Assembly. I'm here to present the staff report for IM 25039 and ordinance serial number 25018. This is a similar we call it ag land conversion, similar to what we've done in the past. In November 2022, the Assembly unanimously adopted legislation to create a volunteer program allowing agricultural properties sold under former Title 13 to convert to Title 23. Under former Title 13, when the borough sold agricultural properties, the ag rights were conveyed to the buyer while the borough retained the development rights. In contrast, under Title 23, the borough sells ag land with fee simple title, imposing covenants, conditions, and restrictions that run with the land. This conversion program allows the ag rights holder to obtain fee simple title, but the property must continue to be used for agricultural purpose in perpetuity. Mark and Sandra Stahl have applied and qualified to purchase the remaining interest in the land estate in accordance with MSB Title 23 and the Land and Resource Management Policy and Procedures. Public comments did not oppose this action, but there were a few that expressed concern about keeping a trail open that went across the property. That's a separate issue. The staff recommends that, as I have heard before, that government get out of the way and that the Assembly approve Ordinance 25018.
Assembly have any questions of staff? Thanks, Susie. Okay, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing on ordinance 25-018. We do not apparently have a sign-up sheet, right? Okay. Anyone that would like to address the assembly? And your testimony at this time has to pertain to ordinance 25-018. Do we have anybody online, sir? We do not? Okay, so I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And Deputy Mayor?
I move to adopt ordinance 25-018.
Okay, discussion by the assembly? Okay, seeing no discussion, is there any objection to the passing of ordinance 25-018? Yes, Assembly
No,
President.
not objection. Question. Is this, because in a couple of years I've been here, I don't know if it's maybe a question for Manager Brown or to the staff, is this the process that we do periodically? Because I don't remember last time when we did it, is that we just completely passing on the land to the new owners with intent for them to use it for agricultural purposes? Or is this I guess so that the rest of the public understands why those who are listening online and in person, specifically because you named the people. So if you could just briefly run kind of explanation of the process.
Okay, let me, just a minute, Susie. Does the assembly have any objection to staff answering the question? Okay, go ahead then, Susie.
Through the mayor, Member Fonoff. The process is the same as we've done before, and that was approved by the Assembly in 2022. So Title 13 was an ag sale program that only sold the ag rights to our buyers, which meant that they have to come to the borough to do anything on their property, including change their farm plan, build a house, build a barn, build any structures at all. And also it made it a little more difficult to obtain financing for those folks. So that was repealed. Title 23 took its place, and instead of just selling the agricultural rights, we conveyed fee simple rights. But on top of that, just so it's clear, the agricultural covenants remained in place. So forever, the property is still supposed to go agricultural. It can't be developed into housing or any of that. Did that?
Thank you. That explains, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Assembly Person Sumner?
Yeah, what's the recourse if someone does try to use it for something besides agricultural uses?
So the covenants do have in it that it could be taken back by the borough. There would probably be a process, obviously, in order to do that.
Mr. Attorney, comments?
Yeah, so if they're in violation of the covenants, then yeah, we would try to work it out with them first. But if somebody was obstinate or just didn't want to work with the borough, we would work with land management, wind up filing a lawsuit and exercise the reverter clause and take the land back. We've never done it, though, just to put everybody at ease.
Okay, Assemblyperson Powers.
Yeah, I think I remember this. The staff worked with the ag board. Basically, you're allowing people to still have ag land and get the exemptions and encourage the ag land, but you took away some of the red tape that was there.
Absolutely. That's what this is all about.
Thank you.
Assemblyperson Hale, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I believe that one of the ag covenants states that you can only subdivide once and up no more than 4 parcels, and those parcels all have to be greater than 40 acres. Is that correct? Yeah. So one of the guardrails against future development on these ag parcels is the plating board would not approve a subdivision in excess of those covenants. So that kind of helps a lot right there. You're not going to take 200 acres or whatever and break it up into 150, 40,000 square foot lots, because the plating board will not approve that. So
that's correct.
Any further comments from the assembly? Okay, thank you, lady. Okay. So is there any objection? Okay, so we had the public hearing on it. Yeah. Okay, Deputy Mayor?
He already moved it.
Oh, okay.
He already moved
He
it.
did already move. Okay. Alrighty. Any further discussion by the assembly? Thank you. Is there any objection? Okay, hearing none, then ordinance 25-018 has been passed. Next item.
Ordinance 25055, an ordinance reappropriating $150,000 from the Solid Waste Operating Fund to a Solid Waste Project Fund to purchase and improve software with automated lane support for the new landfill entrance and scale house, with accompanying resolution 2544, a resolution approving the reappropriation of $150,000 from the Solid Waste Operating Fund to a Solid Waste Project Fund to purchase and improve purchase and improve software with automated lane support for a new landfill entrance and scale house. If you're on the phone and would like to speak to this, press *3.
Okay, staff, please, sir.
Madam Mayor, members of Assembly, Tom Adams, Public Works Director. As kind of explained in the IM, this ordinance will take $150,000 from the FY25 operating budget and move it over to a project account. And the reason for that is we made solicitation for the software purchase. We're currently in negotiations with that vendor, and we don't believe that solicitations and the provision of the software installation will take place before the expiration of the fiscal year. So therefore, to facilitate that work to extend into FY26, we move the money into project funding.
Questions? Yes, Assemblyperson Hale, go ahead.
So this is money that was set aside in 2020, fiscal year 2025. And is this going to affect fees at the landfill in any way? Taking this money out of the fund?
Through the mayor to some member Hale, no. Yes to it's in our current operating budget. No to the fact that it affects fees.
Further questions, comments? Okay, thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing on ordinance 25-055 and resolution 25-044. We do not have a sign-up sheet. Okay. Is anyone in the audience that would like to address the assembly on this ordinance? Do we have anybody online, sir? We do not. Okay, one last chance. Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Deputy Mayor.
Remember hours.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
oh, okay.
I move to adopt ordinance 25-055 and resolution 25-044.
Okay. Discussion on the motion? Any objection to the motion? Seeing and hearing none, the legislation has passed. Now we're to the second audience participation that we have. Do we have a sign-up sheet for this audience participation? No? Okay, All right, but if there is somebody here that hasn't addressed the assembly on the previous audience participation and would like to say something, you're welcome to come. I see some discussion and some finger pointing, but we'll see, I guess, if somebody, come on, we won't bite it up here. Yeah. Okay, I won't embarrass you further. Okay. Do we have anybody online, sir? We do not. One last chance then for this audience participation. Okay, I'll go ahead and close audience participation. And now, Assemblyperson McKee, we are at the consent agenda. If you have some items you wanted to pull.
Actually, my questions on them were what was, because I couldn't quite figure out what was the maintenance per mile cost. Got that from Nick.
On one particular one or all of them? Or?
Yeah, on, excuse me, 042, 043, 044, 045, and 046, and 047. But
Oh, okay.
I understand now how they're doing that. I just couldn't figure out what the level 1, 2, 3, and 4. I also had a question regarding the cost of these, the contracts. And as
Okay,
I understand
but
it,
it's my understanding, I think you'll have to pull them in
oh,
order to
talk about
ask
it?
questions.
Okay, well, just hold that thought.
Okay.
Well, no, I don't need to. I may say it in comments or something like, I think I could just forget that. But I did have one. 'Cause
Okay.
I didn't know what it meant. That, oh dear, hold on.
Okay, while you're looking, I think Assemblyperson Sumner had, go ahead, sir.
Two things. I wanted to pull AM 25050. And then also I have a disclosure. I meant to discuss it with the attorney before the meeting, but I forgot to. Pertaining to, well, all the AMs with McKenna Brothers, I did in 2022 and maybe a little bit in 2023, I did use them for paving a subdivision and some roads. It was in the due course of business. It was a competitive bid and, fair market value. So I'd ask for a rule and an opinion from the attorney.
Okay, and does that pertain to an AM? Which
That
one?
pertains to like 3 or 4 that McKenna Brothers
Well,
paving
then
is.
doesn't he have to pull all of them if he's going to talk about, he wants to pull 050, but then if he wants to talk about other ones, he's going to have to pull them, right? No?
No,
I
it
think,
just
Madam Mayor,
pertained
he's declaring a conflict of interest on the ones regarding McKenna Brothers. So I
Okay.
think he's just asking for a ruling on whether he can stay or go. And if it's
Okay.
so many, I think we just need to, I think you can just make a ruling.
Correct. And I was asking for an opinion from the attorney. but,
Okay.
Also, I have no current business with them.
Okay.
What I would suggest, Mayor, is that we see if anybody else wants to pull anything from the consent agenda and maybe take a brief break. And then you and Assemblymember Sumner and I can talk about
Okay.
the extent of any potential conflict and anything else you might need to say on the record before you. I mean, the rule is he makes the declaration and you make a ruling, and it sounds like you're asking for guidance from me, and I would prefer to do that with a couple more questions.
Okay. So,
Now we just go to Assemblymember McKee for hers.
well, don't we have to, I have to rule on his,
Mr. Spiropoulos requested that you go to the next person who wants to pull things, and then we take a break for you, Mr.
and then
Sumner,
those
and him
three
to
together.
talk.
So we
Yes.
do
Okay.
McKee
Yes.
for, okay, Assemblyperson McKee, go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to pull 25048.
048.
Is that resolution or AM?
The resolution. Where are we? No, I'm on AM 25048. Under action memorandum? I'm probably saying
Okay,
this wrong.
so AM 25048.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's the only one.
Okay.
Okay. Pardon?
Do you want to recess? Guys,
Yeah. Before we vote on that. Or, yeah, yes,
Yeah.
because maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, alrighty. So why don't we go ahead and recess until 7:15? I'm going to go ahead and call the assembly back to order, please. Oh, okay. No worse. Oh, there's Stephanie there.
Are you gonna rule on conflict of interest first?
Yeah.
She's going to ask me to accuse.
Okay,
So
then-
she's going to say yes to me.
Okay, we'll have to get the numbers, okay. Thank you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Okay, Assemblyperson Sumner?
Yes.
The
Yeah,
more- the
after-
me-
I'm sorry.
Okay, the meeting's back to order, so will you address?
Yeah, after further discussion, I would ask if I could be recused for AM. Yeah, AM 25042, AM 25045, AM 25046, AM 25047.
Okay. So I will honor your request to be recused. And let's see, so I guess, Madam Clerk, then we'll read the ones that you haven't addressed and the one that Assemblyperson McKee hadn't addressed, so we can move on those that are still, quote, standing. Okay.
Resolution 2547, a resolution approving the amended scopes of work and budgets for the Wasilla Creek Headwaters Trail, Hessler Norris Trail System, Herning Trail, and Matanuska Riverfront Trail South for the trail bridge reconstruction and major improvement purposes. Resolution 2548, a resolution removing the driveway permit deposit requirement to improve efficiencies and streamline permitting processes. AM 2540, approval of additional cost to NSTAR in the amount of $73,851.70 for utility relocation for the Midway Road Service Area Number 9 grading, drainage, and pavement improvements project, and to extend the completion date to December 15th, 2025. AM 2541, awarded bid number 25137B to Alaska Resource Group in the contract amount of $274,145.60 for the Trapper Creek Road Service Area Number 30 annual road maintenance. AM 2543, awarded bid number 25136B to the Alaska Resource Group LLC in the contract amount of $796,720.90 for Greater Talkeetna Road Service Area Number 29 annual road maintenance. AM 2544, awarded bid number 25130B to Battleground LLC in the contract amount of $189,867.50 for the Lazy Mountain Road Service Area Number 19 annual road maintenance. AM 2549, awarded bid number 25158B to Dirtworks Incorporated in the contract amount of $484,789.65 to construct the Melanie Lane and Bryan Drive street improvements. AM 2551, award of proposal number 25115P to HDL Engineering Consultants in the contract amount of $773,636 to design Ingstrom North Extension to Texel Drive. AM 2552, award of proposal number 25124P to P&D Engineers in the contract amount of $124,919 for the Wolf and Heart Lakes Drainage Study and Improvement Design.
Deputy Mayor?
I move to approve the consent agenda as read by the clerk.
Is there any objection from any of the assembly members? Hearing none, then the consent agenda that has been read has been approved. And then, let's see, we take Assemblyperson McKee's first, or the...
We usually go in order, Madam Mayor, so
I was just going to tell you, you can just scratch it. I already found the answer. I'm okay.
it hasn't been moved, so we're going to have to,
Oh, okay.
we can, I would
Kinda cut to the
recommend
chase there.
taking Sumner's first, and then he can
Okay.
come back in.
Alrighty, so we will excuse you, sir.
And Madam Mayor, if you
Yeah.
want to take them all at once, and if the assembly's okay with that, we got Assemblymember Hale.
Yeah.
I was just going to suggest that. I was going to ask that we could take them all at once.
I can read all the ones that Assemblymember Sumner pulled and have the deputy mayor move them if we could, Madam Mayor.
Sure.
AM 2542 awarded bid number 25131B to McKenna Brothers Paving in the contract amount of $902,884.40 for the Greater Willow Road Service Area Number 20 annual road maintenance. AM 2545 awarded bid number 25133B to McKenna Brothers Paving in the contract amount of $700,139 for the Greater, excuse me, I just dawned on me. Okay, bear with me. For Greater Butte Road Service Area Number 26 Annual Road Maintenance, AM 2546 awarded bid number 25129B to McKenna Brothers Paving in the contract amount of $829,879 for Caswell Lakes Road Service Area Number 15 Annual Road Maintenance. AM 2547 awarded bid number 25132B to McKenna Brothers Paving in the contract amount of $1,831,460.90 for the South Colony Road Service Area Number 16 Road Maintenance.
Deputy
And
Mayor, oh, I'm sorry.
there was one more, but it isn't McKenna Brothers, so it's separate.
Okay. And Deputy Mayor? Go ahead and move the ones that she just read.
I move all those ones that the clerk just read.
Objection by the Assembly regarding the consent agenda numbers that the clerk just read to us. Okay. Is there any objection to any of those? Okay, seeing no objection, then they are being approved, and we'll wait till Assemblyperson Sumner comes back. And so now on Assemblyperson McKee, she still has to move it because we haven't done it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Assemblyperson McKee.
I got to
you-
read it first, Madam Mayor.
Okay,
AM 2548, approval of change order number 4 to contract 232PA with Kinney Engineering for the Fern Street upgrade and pathway design to add $188,150 for the engineering services to complete Phase 2 of the project, pulled by Assemblymember McKee.
okay, Assemblyperson McKee, go ahead and move it, please.
I move AM 25-048.
Okay.
And now I'd like to just forget
Yep.
about it. My question was answered, so let's go.
Okay, so is there any objection by the Assembly for AM 25-048? Okay, seeing no objection, then it has been approved. Okay, so that is finally take us through, or do you
We got
have
one
another
more.
one?
AM 2550 awarded bid number 25154B to BSI Equipment in the contract amount of $138,466.88 to purchase compost containers for recycling at the central landfill. It was pulled by Assemblymember Sumner.
Okay, Assemblyperson Sumner, would you like to go ahead and move it and then talk about, whatever you want to talk about it?
I move AM 25-050.
Okay, would you like to address it?
Yeah, actually, I'm glad that Russ is here. I want to point out the bid graphic. You see the BABA Buy America, Build America, with and without Buy America, Build America, and with Build America, Buy America, it's about a quarter of the price than without. And I was hoping for maybe some explanation on that and clarification.
Okay, let me see if there's any objection to bringing forth a staff member at this time. Okay, seeing none, then go ahead, sir.
Russ Kraft, Purchasing Director, through the mayor to Assemblymember Sumner. I'm actually as surprised as you are on this one. When these bids came in, one of the reasons that we bid it the way we do is because although the money comes with the BABA requirements, if we can show that there's an enormous cost difference, where it just makes it unfeasible to buy the BABA compliant, then we can potentially get a waiver to go with a non-BABA item on this. When we bid it out, the low bidder, we looked at that number, and one of the first things we did was we called them to verify that that in fact was an accurate number, because people make mistakes on bids. And although we can try to hold people to it, it's not, I mean, this was huge. So we reached out to Bob Services and verified, and they did in fact come back and confirmed their number, that so that the major difference in it is in the smaller, the 8-yard containers. We're buying 36 8-yard containers, and their price came in at
$1,300 a piece, whereas their competitor was bidding them at $11,000. So a huge discrepancy. But they came back, verified that in fact that was a good number and that they were BABA compliant. The cost for the 40-yard containers was very comparable. They were within $200 of each other. So, you know, this is one of those cases where it just happened that the locally sourced item was quite a bit cheaper than a non-BABA. Now, just the fact that it's non-BABA doesn't mean that it was necessarily coming in from overseas. It just means that they could not produce paperwork to show that it was 100% BABA compliant. So we don't know what the origin was of the more expensive ones. All I can do is say that based on the paperwork that was submitted and will be required to come in with those bids, that there's quite a bit of savings to be realized by going with one that actually meets the requirement this time.
A follow-up question. Do you think, I mean, was this recent enough that you think tariffs had any effect on this? I guess I'm asking for your opinion.
Assembly Member Sumner through the mayor. My suspicion is that these containers already exist and were already made. If in fact, I mean, obviously the low bidder, the tariffs wouldn't have any impact on them because that's U.S. steel in those. The $11,000 ones, it would not surprise me at all if there was tariff costs factored into that, knowing that that was coming down the line and knowing that the steel tariffs are fairly high. So.
I have another question. What's the, do you know what the source, where the containers that BSI is supplying are coming from?
I don't have that. All I know is that, I mean, they're a local supplier, but I don't know what they're, who they're buying them through at this point.
Yeah. I mean, so this is a great opportunity to kind of segues to a conversation I had with Tom about the capital plan that's in the budget book. You know, there's $1 million over the next 5 years being spent on repurchasing and refurbishing our 120, 140 yard dumpsters that are used at the transfer sites. And I asked Tom, and I guess I'm sure he passed it on to you, Russ, to look into, you know, getting local manufacturers or soliciting local manufacturers to build those. And that's $1 million in the local economy versus, you know, outside, sending that money elsewhere is better, you know, even if it means refurbishing our existing containers. So hope you guys, take that seriously. And even if you send things out to bid, and you don't get a response, maybe call, pick up a phone and call some manufacturers, local manufacturers, steel workers and welders, and see if they'd be interested in bidding on that. That's a lot of work. I see a lot of head nods from the rest of the assembly, so they agree with me.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Excuse me, I have Russ, can I talk to him? How come these things are only guaranteed for one year? I mean, my 6-year-old grandson could probably demolish those in a year. You guys treat it probably half as badly as he, but wow, is that normal?
To Assemblymember McKee through the mayor, our construction projects carry a year warranty on
That's
them.
it?
The products are manufactured, they're going to be used. These are essentially trash containers. They take a lot of wear and tear. We have contracts to go through to repair them, to go through, clean them up, repaint them, or repair any welds.
Ready, thanks. I thought you just threw them away at the end of the year. Thank you.
Yeah.
Assemblyperson Nowers, go ahead.
Thanks. No, I don't have a question for you, Russ. Thanks. I'm just really glad that Assemblyman Sumner asked that question because I had the same response. First, I had to remember what Baba meant, and it wasn't a Disney character. And then I I had to look at that, and then I was like, wait, the width Baba is cheaper. I went back and forth about 3 or 4 times on it. So, yeah, it'd be great. I mean, the more stuff we can source up here in Alaska, great. I mean, the one reason we struggle with manufacturing here in the valley is high energy prices, high healthcare costs, and high transportation costs. So I think that's holding us back. And if there's somebody who can crack that nut and do it up here despite those challenges, like Alaska Airframes, they just pay the higher price because they want to be Alaska made. But it would be interesting to reach out to people and hear if they aren't interested in doing it and get that feedback to the assembly. I would love to hear like what it is that's holding, can they not get the supply? Is it cost? Is it, et cetera? Because sometimes we just can't compete with the lower 48. We see that in our ag, people want the $2 a dozen eggs. At least it used to be $2 a dozen, and they don't want to pay the extra for Alaska. But I would be interested to hear any feedback we get from, if we reach out to people and are trying to get them to manufacture locally, what the issues are, and maybe we can look into trying to do something about that.
Further discussion by the assembly person.
I'll echo Stephanie. Isn't that interesting that it goes against all narratives that we hear on mainstream media, and then we get the results that are like, wow, which is pretty impressive. So thank you for doing homework, and I do fully support reaching out. Maybe those people who don't intend to bid on it, but something like this can be, I know, manufactured locally. I personally know welders that weld big, nice boats, and I think they can definitely weld together a container if needed. So.
Further discussion, comments by the assembly? Okay. Is there any objection to the legislation? Okay, seeing and hearing none, that it has been approved. Madam Clerk.
Introduction for public hearing on May 20th, ordinance 25023. Ordinance 25031 with accompanying ordinance 2532, ordinance 2533 with accompanying ordinance 2534, ordinance 2535 with accompanying ordinance 2536, ordinance 2537 with accompanying ordinance 2538, ordinance 2539 with accompanying resolution 2530, ordinance 2548, ordinance 2553 with accompanying resolution 2539, ordinance 2556, ordinance 2557 with accompanying resolution 2545, ordinance 2558 with accompanying resolution 2549, ordinance 2559, ordinance 2550 with accompanying resolution 2550, ordinance 25062, ordinance 25063, and ordinance 25064.
Deputy Mayor.
I move to introduce the legislation as read into the record by the clerk and set the public hearing for May 20th, 2025.
Okay. Is there any discussion by the assembly? Is there any objection? Hearing none, then the legislation has been introduced. Deputy Mayor.
I move to confirm the mayor's recommendation as follows. Agriculture Advisory Board, resignation of Sharman? Oh, that? Animal Care Regulation Board, Amanda Taylor, Rebecca Bond Knuth. Board of Ethics, Patrick McKay. Joint Assembly / School Board Committee on School District Funding Issues, Tom Berge, Ole Larson, Andrew Shane. Library Citizens Advisory Committee, resignation of Sally Pollen, resignation of Aaron Malone,
Okay.
member 3C and appointed to alternate 2 seat. Parks and Recreation and Trail Advisory Board, Kay Friedman. Planning Commission, resignation of C.J. Cohn. Plating Board, resignation of Eric Cohn. Greater Palmer Consolidated FSA number 132, Bill
Klebesidle.
Westlake's FSA number 137, resignation of Judith Cox. Gold Trail RSA number 28, Andy George and Maxim
Zagorодny.
Zagnordny. Thank you.
And the clerk wanted it to be clear that on McKay, that is a resignation. And if you haven't heard, he has been appointed a district judge. And so that's the reason that he has sent his resignation into the Board of Ethics for the borough. So, okay, discussion on the vacancy report. I think we've already had some discussion, but and yes, Assemblyperson Malaf, go ahead.
I just wanted to briefly say, this is RSA 28 that we recently converted from 3 to 5 member board. It was actually 2, there was only really 2 active members out of the 3. When we started this discussion, when Mr. Bernier brought the thing, it got a lot of attention, and we started discussing. And we've actually received decent amount of applications. And this one will, on the Gold Trail, it will confirm the 5 out of 5 number in there. I talked to most of them in the one form or another. They're new to it. They don't have the like experience or any, specifically being on the RSA boards before, but they're excited to be involved. And I think this is just example. And they don't. I believe they come with really good intentions, and we'll see how this works. And if it works out well, I do encourage assembly people to I talk to people, the ones that want to be involved. This is a very small way of being involved, but I think there is enough people out there that are willing to serve. When we reach out to them, a lot of times we explain what it consists and how little or how big of a commitment it is, and you can recruit people is what I'm saying. So, and this is an example that this 28 board will be 5 out of 5 filled.
Further discussion by the assembly. Okay, any objection? Okay, hearing none, then the vacancy report has been approved. Okay, there is no new business, no referrals, but Madam Clerk, we do have a reconsideration.
Resolution 2531, a resolution directing the manager to subdivide tracks 10 and 13, Alaska State Land Survey number 8111, plat number 8280, Palmer Recording District, to separate the rail transportation corridor and terminal easements of the Point McKenzie Rail Extension Project from the remaining agricultural land in preparation for future land disposal.
Assemblyperson McKee, do you want to make the motion to reconsider?
How do I
Just
say that?
I
move
would
to
like to
reconsider.
reconsider Resolution 25-031.
Okay, I move to reconsider Resolution 25-031.
Okay, is there any discussion on this is just on the reconsideration of the motion? Okay, is there any objection to reconsidering the motion? Okay, so now we are on the main motion to adopt Resolution 25-031. Assemblyperson McKee, did you have some discussion you wanted to discuss about?
A little.
Okay.
When we had the last meeting, it was a little testy every now and then. I felt it seemed there were some unresolved issues. Neither side was totally happy with the way it went. And then when I was outside in my wheelchair, and there were a couple of guys out there that had appeared before here, and also Mike was there, and doing the Uber thing with the wheelchair. Thank you very much. It just seemed like there was more to discuss. That could have been resolved with a little more discussion, and I kind of leave it with the experts because I'm obviously not one. But it seemed that there was more to say. I'd like to give them the opportunity to say it.
Okay, do you want staff or Mike or what? What do you?
Maybe Mike.
So, pardon? Do you want staff to present more information, or Assemblyperson Sumner wants to talk, but I want to give you, who do you, I want to address your questions to.
Mike.
Mike, okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So to Ms. McKee, I think the issue that came up last time was whether or not we should subdivide. As it stands now, there would be an easement on those remaining parcels where the ag covenants have been terminated. And I think the two gentlemen that were out there, what they were advocating for is don't do that, just leave that, leave it as an easement and just move forward. And so we went back and revisited it. We've talked to the attorney and our land management staff. We still think it's in the best interest of the borough to subdivide this. The state has told us they will be able to subdivide one time, which is reasonable, that this would not preclude that from happening. And we believe it's in the borough's best interest to subdivide and own that land outright, because we don't know exactly what we're going to be using it for in the future, versus having it as an easement over someone else's land.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Assemblyperson Sumner, did you have comment? I don't know, your initials are here, so.
Yeah, no, I did. I was just going to say that it seems like it leaves most options open, and I mean, we'll be able to sell that land. I don't think that the borough should be in the business of leasing farmland and leasing houses. I think that if that was part of the presentation, is there some houses on there that are being leased out too? Is that correct, Mike?
Through the mayor to Mr. Stumner, that's correct. There are 2 parcels where there are structures that we have been renting. One of those occupants has vacated. The other one will likely vacate in mid to late August of this year. And then land management staff are moving forward with, assuming the assembly approves this resolution, we'll move forward with subdividing and then selling those properties.
Yeah, if you remember the report some months ago, it was basically, I think we were almost losing money or with the staff time it takes to lease things out. It was not a really best use of the staff's time to be leasing buildings or even the farmland. I think that we should divest the borough's interest in this land. And this leaves us, be simple title to the other sections we do need and the options to do what we want with it later.
Okay, Assemblyperson Hale.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, so if I remember correctly, the 2 gentlemen that came and spoke against subdividing were basing that on the idea that they couldn't, the new owner would not be able to subdivide again after that. But because the land was condemned, the agricultural covenants on the land was condemned, it no longer counts as the one subdivision of the land that you're permitted under the ag covenants. And that was the guidance that we were given by the state, who maintains those ag covenants. So since the subdivision that we're proposing doesn't count against the one subdivision, I think that really does address the concerns of those 2 gentlemen who were here saying, wait, think about this for a second.
Okay, further discussion? Okay, yeah, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm again with the manager that in the meantime, these easements, will the owners of the tracks, will they be able to continue to farm the easements until something is done with them?
So through the mayor to Mr. Gamble, I just signed 2 hay permits for the same, one of the gentlemen that was here to continue growing and harvesting hay on those parcels through the rest of this summer. Now, if it sells, then we'll see. If we do subdivide and those 2 remaining parcels that we subdivide off that do not have the ag covenants, if we don't have a purpose for them or and we haven't figured that out, we can still issue permits and allow them to use it for the purposes of growing and harvesting hay.
Right,
And
thank
we
you.
would intend to do that. We just can't go on a longer term permit at this time because we've got to figure out this subdivision and sale.
Right, okay, thank you.
Okay. So I think there's probably objection. Is there? Right?
Objection to what?
No? No objection? Okay. All righty. So there's no objection, then the legislation passes. We're now to parting comments. Mr. Attorney, parting comments, sir?
I think Lawyer Appreciation Minute is every year on February 31st at 2:02 in the afternoon. That's all I have.
Are you baking us a cake? Yes, okay. Assemblyperson McKee, parting comments.
Yeah, just briefly, I'd like to give a public shout out to Jillian Morrissey. My concerns with the library committee and all that sort of thing there were 4 things I wanted when we met to set up that committee, and 2 of them were met immediately. The other 2 are Jillian has pulled some rabbits out of hats or whatever it is that she does. It looks very promising, and I just wanted you to know, after meeting with her, I am very encouraged. I think it ain't exactly what I want, but you never get exactly what you want. But it's getting close. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Deputy Mayor, parting comments, sir.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you, Lord, for this rain. Please bless our valley. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay. Parting comments, Assemblyperson.
I'm
Hale?
just glad I got my hay under the cover, under cover before the rainstorm hit, so no comment. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Parting comments, Assemblyperson.
I can't say the same about my plants. So we'll see what shape they're in. Thank you for mentioning Tractor Day. That was super fun.
Yeah.
And thought it was worth noting that one of the reasons Eric Cohn is leaving us is because he's taking over as head of USDA Rural
Right.
Development here, appointed. So that's pretty cool. And just one thing that I think is everybody should take a read of is the health care report that the manager sent us recently. If you need any insight into how messed up our healthcare billing system is that the borough and everybody else is trying to navigate, just look at some of the spreadsheets in that. And what, the basic was that Alaska Regional is charging a lot more, but they give a bigger discount. But not for everything. Depending on if you get a lipid panel out here, you should drive all the way to Anchorage and get your lipid panel. But if I can't remember the other thing that was reversed, but you got a hernia. So go and do your blood work in Anchorage and then get all, it is crazy, just absolutely crazy that we allow this billing system and we keep trying to work within the system instead of saying this needs to change and be transparent, and it's killing us budget-wise and hampering our ability to do business and live our lives. And the medical professionals don't like it either. So I just wanted to note that, and that we continue to be the squeaky wheel to say this needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody, even the patient getting the service, is happy about what's going on with nobody's happy. So we need to find a solution for this, yeah. Mr. Manager, parting comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. And because we don't do enough meetings, I would like to ask for 2 more. In the middle of the summer, on the most beautiful warm day that we have. So I would like to request the Assembly's approval to set up a special meeting just to talk about Port McKenzie. It will not be decisional, it will be informational, at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, July 15th. So we have one meeting in July, on July 15th. We'll just set up a 4 o'clock, have Dave Griffin come in here, and then just have an hour and a half of dialogue about Port Mac. It'll allow him to kind of share some of the more comprehensive things that are happening with business development that you don't hear every day with the various companies that we talk to, because you may only hear when they call you. And so there's a lot of things being talked about, infrastructure improvements, business development, different things, and just activity. So it would be great if we could just set that up. We'll do it in here. It'll be on the same day you're going to be here anyway, hour and a half, all Port Mac, and then we'll move on to our regular meeting. The second request is for a Saturday meeting in the middle of summer. My preference would be August 2nd or August 9th at Station 6.5. It'll be the strategic planning format, but I specifically want to invite the Department of Public Safety to come out and have a conversation specifically around public safety. This will be centered more on a couple of topics. One specifically around like the trooper presence and that kind of thing. I've got more details. I'll get that to you later. I really, at this point, I just want to get it on the schedule, and then we will ferret out like the details. And so those are my 2 requests.
Okay, so does everybody have a chance to look at their schedule regarding, I won't ask about July 15th because you should already have that on your schedule. It'll just be a matter of you coming earlier at 4 p.m. But then on either August 2nd or 9th, or if you want to get back to the clerk, that's fine too. Or if you want to, Assemblyperson McKee, do you have the mic on?
Silver Salmon Derby, August 9th, Valdez. Maybe we could do the 2nd?
9th is better than the 2nd?
No, 2nd better than 9th. That's what, I won the Silver Salmon Derby one year, so that's very dear to my heart. That starts on the 9th in Valdez.
Yeah, and
Assemblyperson
too, yeah.
if I can add, the 9th is the day before the sheep season opener, so
There
if
you
you want
go.
me to attend, then the 2nd.
The second's winning.
Okay, Assemblyperson. Yeah.
This
Well,
is definitely an Alaskan group. That's also prime fishing season, so I would just ask it be like, maybe a 1 o'clock meeting so the early morning fishing can happen. 1 or later, maybe.
Okay, Assemblyperson Hale.
Yeah, in the spirit of all these comments, the August meeting is fine with me, but I will not be here for the July 15th meeting. I will be either on the Kasilof or the Copper River harvesting my salmon. So, depending on weather, depends where I'll be.
Okay. Further comments by assembly member? Yes, Madam Clerk.
We haven't established the time for the August 2nd meeting.
I think we heard 9 or 10 and 1, right? Is that what we heard? Or no?
No, I'd prefer an
want it to
afternoon
be
meeting
out
as
by
opposed
night?
to a morning, yeah. But if you must, you can do the morning and I'll try to fish a different day.
Why can't you fish in the afternoon?
Assembly person Bonoff, did you have a comment?
The fish bite better in the morning.
I thought makes more sense for me to get the meeting over with. I don't know how many, are we looking at 2-hour meeting or 3-hour meeting possibly, Mr. Brown?
Through the mayor, I would suggest probably, well, I mean, 3 or 4 hours. I mean, I don't think it'll be a full day by any stretch. But I
The
think
Saturday one you're talking
I mean,
about, right?
let's be honest. This group's pretty talkative, so I don't think 2 hours is going to work. I think it'll be more like 3 to 4. And I think it's going to be a topic you're going to have a lot of questions about.
I think so. I'm just would like to have the meeting regardless of the time.
My suggestion would be 10 a.m.
Let's do that.
You can go at 4.
Or
You can go fishing at 4.
4 in the morning, yeah? Yeah. Well, they don't open the river till 6. Oh, well. Yeah.
We won't tell them you're there.
Then we can have the public safety discussion.
That's right. Yeah. We won't let you, we won't let them
You can
arrest
come
when
in
you
late
get there
and
at
still
10.
make it.
Further discussion on, so are we all set then, I think, right? For August 2nd at 10? Is that what we decided? 9, 10, okay. Alrighty. And anything else, sir, in your report? Madam Clerk, your report, any parting comments?
Well, I want to jump on the bandwagon. This is actually Municipal Clerk Week also.
Oh, wow. Well, we honored you, what, 2 years ago when you got Municipal Clerk of the Year, so. We have to have something in our defense. Assemblyperson Sumner, parting comments.
No comments, thank you.
Assemblyperson Gamble, parting comments.
No comments.
Assemblyperson Fonoff, parting comments.
No comments, thank you.
Okay, I don't have any comments either, and it is 7:53?
I think 7:53 looks good.
Okay, that looks good. Okay. Good night, everybody.